Let's get it, 580 Sports Talk live and direct on a Thursday. We've got 3 hours of sports talk coming your way this afternoon here on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and in living color on our video stream. Catch us on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and on Facebook at WIBW News. Great to have you along, however you are enjoying the program today, listening, watching live via the podcast or archived version. However you're checking out 580 Sports Talk, we're just glad you are. We are grateful to have you aboard here on this Thursday. My name is Dan Lucero, back in studio today. So no wind tunnel effect on the audio today. We were out at Firekeeper Golf Course for the Washburn Ichabod Alumni Kickoff Classic Golf Scramble yesterday, and it was a little blustery. You may have noticed if you listened to yesterday's program or you watched the wind rattle around the laptop cameras out there at Firekeeper yesterday on our video stream. We are ensconced in studio today and will be for the entirety of the show. Spencer Dupuy will be along in a bit. Brendan Rosinski is off today. 3 hours today because the Royals are off today before they open a 3-game series in Minneapolis tomorrow night. 3-game set with the Twins to close out the final 3-city road trip of the season. And the Royals accomplished what they had to accomplish on the toughest 2 legs of that road trip. After a win last night, 7-3 over the Boston Red Sox, the Royals went 3-3 through the 2 present beasts in the East, the Blue Jays and the Red Sox, 2 teams that have been exceedingly difficult to beat on their home fields. And the Royals managed to split those 6 games. I said it was the last treading water opportunity, the last time this season where treading water will be fine, and they did it. Now you got to go win some series. And I cannot overstate the importance of starting to win some series for the Kansas City Royals. We'll get there, and we'll talk about last night's game, specifically the lineup shakeup. Maybe that ought to be permanent for the Royals. We'll discuss how the Royals and how Jonathan India could benefit from not having Jonathan India in the leadoff spot anymore. So we'll got some baseball to come on the program today, even if there is no Royals baseball tonight, an off night for the boys in blue. Plenty of football, naturally, as we are now 2 days away from preseason opener for the Chiefs. Saturday night in Glendale, Arizona, the Chiefs and the Cardinals play the preseason opener. That game you'll be able to hear over on our sister station, the Big 94.5 Country, on Saturday night, 6 o'clock pregame, a 7 o'clock kickoff. So today was the last practice for the Chiefs before they get on a plane and they go to the Valley of the Sun and they play a preseason game on Saturday night. We heard from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Both spoke at camp today. We will play you that audio from the head coach and from QB1. Some really interesting stuff from Patrick Mahomes today behind the podium. And we'll play that for you in the 4 o'clock hour, at the bottom of the 4 o'clock hour. We'll play Andy Reid at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. We'll also continue our countdown to Chiefs kickoff. It's 29 days away now, the opener, the regular season opener between the Chiefs and the Chargers in Brazil. And number 29 for the Kansas City Chiefs is Kareem Hunt. So we're going to talk a little bit about his reinvention, and then an interesting possibility posed by former Kansas City Star Chiefs beat writer, current The Athletic Chiefs beat writer, and longtime, never-ending, we hope, friend of the program, Jesse Newell, in one of his first pieces in his new role as the Chiefs beat writer over at The Athletic, where he replaced Nate Taylor, who went over to ESPN to replace the retiring Adam Teicher. An interesting thought that maybe a running back not currently on the roster might make the 53. And one of the active running backs, one of the 4 running backs that we have talked about as likely to make the roster, might find themselves not breaking camp or making the team. We'll get into that a little bit later on. Plus some welcome injury news for the Chiefs today. Christian Fulton is off the PUP list, and that would indicate that he will be trending towards week 1 availability. Chiefs need him. He's had an injury history, certainly, but the Chiefs need Christian Fulton because he's a guy who makes all the pieces fit together really snugly in that Chiefs defensive backfield. So plenty of Chiefs to get to on the program today. 2 great guests that we will bring you on the show. Bottom of this hour, the 3 o'clock hour, Rick Peterson of TopSports.news for the local sports spotlight. School is not back in session, but teachers are back to work. Trust me, I know. They are back to work. And that means we've got sport meetings, CASA meetings, AD meetings, league meetings. And we're not far away from the start of practice, which means we're not far away from the start of high school sports. So we will talk to Pistol about some topics that concern local high school and Washburn University athletics. Pistol joins us bottom of this hour for the local sports spotlight. And, of course, at 5:25 this afternoon, we will be joined by the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, Mitch Holthus, for another training camp report presented to us by Hy-Vee and Zurich Credit Union. Mitch will join us at 5:25. Today, you probably figured it out. He wasn't exactly as evasive with his hint for who we're going to talk about today. He gave you a stat about sacks and the lack of sacks. In fact, exact lack of sacks, 0 sacks allowed by this player last year. That if you did your Googles or you just knew this offhand, you knew it would be Trey Smith today. So it is Trey Smith that we are discussing on today's training camp report with Mitch Holthus. Again, that is coming up at 5:25. Plus, all of our typical Thursday shenanigans. We'll play either or over under in the 5 o'clock hour today. We'll have our 580 Sports Talk headlines, another round of What Is Wrong With You. A story today that made me laugh out loud when I read it, that I'm bringing to the show today. I'm laughing out loud thinking about it. I'm going to call my shot. I think I might have the August winner today. I think I might have the winner for the month of August. I really do. I think the story's that good. So hopefully you don't feel let down when we get to What Is Wrong With You in the 4 o'clock hour. But I think this is a really good one today. You are invited and encouraged to be a part of 580 Sports Talk. We want to hear from you throughout the program. The text line is open, 785-272-9429. That is 785-272-9429. You can react to what we're talking about. Let us know what is on your mind. Questions, comments, concerns, all that good stuff. Plus, we have the YouTube chat available as well. If you're watching the program on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk is the name of the YouTube channel. Go subscribe to the channel if you have not already. We are now 22 subscribers away from a live on-camera during the show arm wrestling match between me and Brendan Dworzinski. 22 subscribers away. I don't expect that we'll get there today. Maybe we will. Maybe there are 22 of you heroes out there and you'll surprise me. But we're picking up about a subscriber a day. Is that you? Why not? Go subscribe to the YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. Doesn't cost you anything but a click and gets us closer to live combat on 580 Sports Talk on the YouTube channel. And when you are watching the show on YouTube, we appreciate those of you who do. Hop on in that live chat and holler at me and Spencer and Brendan when he's in, your hosts. You can interact with us, but you can interact with each other. And that's a really fun and neat thing that has grown there in the YouTube chat, the fostering of the 580 Sports Talk community. I see Vance and Mark H., a couple regulars. Great to see you both as always. Look forward to hearing from more of you in the YouTube chat as we go along here on 580 Sports Talk. Royals 7, Red Sox 3 last night. How's this for an interesting stat? David Lesky had this on social media last night. Friend of the program, David Lesky, from the Inside the Crown newsletter. The Royals have won 10 consecutive series finales And in the 37 series finales the Royals have played this year, so the final game of a 3 or a 4 game series, the Royals are 25-12 in those games. And I think that's more than just a statistical oddity or something to kind of raise an eyebrow at, because there's one of 3 things that's happening typically in a series finale. Yeah, 4-game series are a different deal. But typically, one of 3 things is happening when you play the finale of a 3-game series. You are either going for a sweep, you are trying to avoid being swept, which is where the Royals were last night, or it's the rubber game and you're trying to win the series. So the finales of those 3-game series, they always mean a little something. There's always some urgency about them. Maybe less so if you're in the sweep category, maybe more so if you're in the avoid being swept category. But there's always a little urgency about the finale of a 3-game series. And the Royals have been exceptional at winning those games. They have won their last 10, which is remarkable. And that includes last night, a 7-3 win. Royals fell behind early because Boston can't stop scoring first-inning runs. But the Royals would claw ahead. Kyle Isbell's 2-run single dumped over a drawn-in infield gave them the lead. Jonathan India's 3-run homer in the 7th provided some breathing room, as did an RBI single by Vinny Pasquantino in the 8th. Michael Wacha turned in a quality start. More about that in a second. And the bullpen, Harvey, Urseg, and Estevez allowed 1 run in the final 3 innings to close the door. Royals get to 57-58 with the victory. And with that win, they are now 4 games out of a playoff berth, chasing the skidding Yankees. Only 4 games behind the Yankees in the loss column. Cleveland's been on a bit of a heater. They've gotten to play some lousy teams. That's part of it. Texas and Cleveland both a game and a half behind New York. So Kansas City looking up at their nearest competition just a little bit, but still very much in the mix, and got a much-needed win that ended Boston's 7-game winning streak. 2 big things to talk about from yesterday's game, and we'll start with on offense, because we noted on yesterday's show that for the first time, Jonathan India was starting a game this season, but not batting in the leadoff spot. The only other games where Jonathan India didn't bat leadoff for the Royals this season were the games where he didn't play at all. But he batted 7th last night. Mike Yastrzemski moved to the top of the order. And in the course of our conversation about this lineup move yesterday, I was openly speculating about maybe the Royals don't reunite with Jonathan India this offseason. Maybe he's a non-tender candidate when it comes to arbitration. They don't really have a defensive home for him that makes a lot of sense. He's not a good defensive player. This is his worst year with the bat, his lowest slugging percentage. It could be a non-tender candidate. 2 hits, home run, 3 RBI last night. I mean, non-tender this is what Jonathan India said to me. So one of 2 things to learn from India's performance last night. Number one, either I need to just crap on Jonathan India every time we do a show and he'll shove it in my face that night, or, and this is probably a little bit more realistic, maybe Jonathan India ought not to be hitting leadoff. Because one of the best hitters on this club with runners in scoring position has been this season? Jonathan India. 84 plate appearances this year with runners in scoring position. India's hitting .296 with a .373 on base and a .521 slug. That is very nearly a .900 OPS with runners in scoring position. And if you followed this team for any length of time, that's been a bugaboo for just about every Royals hitter all season long, but not for Jonathan India. His numbers are solid still with men on base. If you expand to include at-bats with just a runner on first, essentially, India with men on is hitting .270 this year with a .377 on base and a .413 slug. So the slug goes down quite a bit, but the on base actually ticks up. He has been much better with men on than with the bases empty. This year with the bases empty, 307 plate appearances for Jonathan India with nobody on base, which, don't know if you know this, but when you bat leadoff, you're taking at least 1 at bat a game with nobody on base. When you bat immediately behind the likes of the hitters the Royals have rolled out there in the lower third of their batting order for the better part of 2025, you're taking a lot of at-bats with nobody on base. And Jonathan India in those at-bats with nobody on base this year is hitting .224 with a .300 on base and a .413 slug. So it's not good. It's not a pretty picture what Jonathan India has done with the bases empty this season, but he has contributed with runners on base. Why not then give him more opportunity to hit with runners on base by moving him down in the order? Now, the counterpoint, he's been in the leadoff spot all year. It's the spot in the batting order where he has hit the most in his major league career. And again, we remind you, these are human beings, and these are not computer characters with attributes that you can just flip up and down, and there's no difference. You get the performance you expect. Batting leadoff, being a leadoff hitter, is a skill. There are tools in the tool chest that give you the opportunity to be successful as a leadoff man. One of the things that makes Jonathan India successful as a leadoff hitter is his patience. He doesn't swing at the first pitch very often, which is a good thing, because when he does, I think he's hitting under 100 this year when he swings at the first pitch. Doesn't swing at the first pitch very often, takes a lot of pitches, and for that first at-bat of the game, that's really valuable. If he can have a 3 to 5 pitch at bat, then Bobby Witt Jr. is getting to see more pitches before he bats for the first time. You give the guys behind you in the order a chance to see what the starting pitcher has. There's value in that. Jonathan India knows how to do it, but he hasn't been very good at it this year. And the Royals' run scoring has suffered as a result. Mike Yastrzemski batted leadoff last night. And when Matt Quatraro was asked about it, he said it was about two things. Number one, familiarity with last night's starting pitcher, Dustin May. He'd just come over from the Dodgers. Yastrzemski obviously just coming to Kansas City from the Giants. So plenty of National League West matchups between Yastrzemski and May. He'd seen him more than any other Royals hitter. So you have that familiarity. But also, Yastrzemski is left-handed. Dustin May is right-handed. Yastrzemski, his whole career, has never hit left-handed pitching. He has been what you call a strong side platoon player because he bats from the left side and most pitchers are right-handed. You get Mike Yastrzemski a platoon partner from the right side, and you've got a pretty productive player that Mike Yastrzemski is probably 70 to 75% of production-wise because, again, you see a lot more right-handers than you do left-handers. The other thought from Quatraro was that by batting him at the top of the order, he would ensure that he would see the starting pitcher more than any other hitter, that most of his at-bats would come against a right-handed pitcher. Because even teams who are pretty rigid adherents to we're not going to let a pitcher face the third time through the order, we're going to go get our guy at the first sign of trouble. Even in those instances, the leadoff hitter typically sees a starting pitcher 3 times. So you're guaranteeing Mike Yastrzemski, a left-hander, very good against right-handers, 3 at-bats against a right-hander, and one he was familiar with and had success with at that. And what do you know? Mike Yastrzemski goes 2 for 3 with a double and a run scored before being removed for a pinch hitter with a left-hander on the mound. That is in line with what Yastrzemski has done this year against right-handed pitching. He's hitting .257 with a .362 on base and a .410 slug. In his career, he's got a .344 on base and a .470 slug against right-handed pitchers. That's what he does. By the way, both of those on-base percentages higher than the .329 on-base mark that the Royals have gotten from all leadoff at-bats this season. Not all at-bats that lead off an inning, but all at-bats from the batter batting leadoff in a given game. Most of that, obviously, is Jonathan India. So, Yastrzemski, productive against right-handers, but as I mentioned, has never hit lefties. That's why Randal Grichuk's around, guys. Randal Grichuk against left-handed pitching this season, only hitting .233 with a .277 on base, and you see those two numbers, and that doesn't really impress you. But a .473 slug is awful nice, with 6 home runs and 137 plate appearances. And in Grichuk's career, we're talking a small sample size. Let's make the sample size bigger. In Grichuk's career against left-handers, it's a .270 average, a .320 on base, and a .506 slug. If you fuse Mike Yastrzemski and Randall Grichuk together, where Yaz only hits against righties, Grichuk only hits against lefties, what you have is one of the most productive hitters on the Kansas City Royals. You just have to use two different guys to get to that one outcome. And why not do that in the leadoff spot? Because, again, if Matt Quatrero's thinking last night is, well, I give my left-hander a chance to see a right-hander more, well, wouldn't the logic follow the next time you see a left-hander? Well, I want to give Randall Grichuk the most possible chances to face a lefty because maybe he'll jump the yard, hit one out. And I'll give him as many chances on that as possible. And Grichuk is not your classic leadoff hitter. Like, he doesn't have the leadoff hitter traits that we talk about when we talk about Jonathan India. He's not going to be the guy that takes pitch after pitch or grinds out those 8-pitch at bats. Like, he's not a leadoff hitter in the classical sense. But there are a lot of guys who aren't leadoff hitters in the classical sense. Did you guys see the other day when Shea Langoliers, the catcher for the A's, hit 3 home runs in a game? He was batting leadoff. Catchers typically, unless they were Jason Kendall, don't hit leadoff, right? But Langoliers hitting leadoff. Kyle Schwarber's been hitting leadoff quite a bit for the Phillies the last couple of years. That's not your classic leadoff man, your fire starter at the top of the order. It's time for the Royals to think outside the box a little bit when it comes to the leadoff spot. So I think moving forward, this ought to be the way the Royals do it, because I think it gets the most out of your platoon, Yaz and Grichuk. And I think batting India in the order gets more out of what he's done with runners in scoring position this year. And I think it eases a little bit of the burden on Jonathan India. Ann Rogers has a piece today at the Royals official website. And if you are a subscriber to her newsletter through MLB.com, it came to your email box today. Really interesting, really revealing quotes from India about this season, which has been the worst of his major league career. And I thought it was really fascinating to see what Jonathan India had to say, for him to say, to tell the media. And he was talking, this is pregame. This is before last night's game when he homered. Quote, "I'm not myself right now. I'm not being the hitter I know I can be. There's a lot of factors in that. I understand I'm not playing well. It's just part of winning. We got to win. That's the bottom line. And I'm a team player. I want to win at all costs. Whatever helps the team, I'm in." He would go on to point out that the Royals asking him to move off of second base this year, again, this is not, these are human beings. This is not a computer character. This is not a Stratomatic card. You put it a different position and they've got a defensive rating, and it is what it is. It's a physical toll. It's a mental toll. India wasn't particularly good in left field or at third base, as you'll doubtless recall. And India admitted as much, that it's been tough on him. Quote, "Physically, it's been a tough year. It's more physical than mental, but maybe mentally too. I love all the guys here. I love the organization, but maybe I'm just not comfortable. I don't know what it is. I've been searching for pretty much the whole year now, trying to find myself, my passion, my fire, and it just hasn't come out. I don't know why. It's just part of baseball. It's nothing to do with the organization. They treat me with such respect. It's very structured. So it's me. I just need to get built in here and figure it out." Interesting self-awareness from a 5-year vet. But I do wonder if everything that the Royals have asked of Jonathan India, the weight of it has contributed to him struggling, and maybe removing just a little bit of that weight in two ways. One, they've already done. They're not yanking him around the diamond all over the place. They're saying, look, you're going to play second base. Not great at it, but at least he knows he's going to play over there every day. And he doesn't have to worry about his defense at third or his defense in left, where he wasn't good either. But you're there every day, and then less pressure on him to be the igniter, and a little bit less stress on him being able to find himself at the plate. That might get the best out of Jonathan India. And hopefully moving forward, because the Royals are going to need production from him, no doubt. Maybe that will be easier to find if they move him down the order a little bit. One other thought I want to get to about the Royals before we take our first break here. Michael Wacha last night, a quality start. We know the stat. 6 innings or more, 3 earned runs allowed or fewer. Do you know it was only the 4th quality start for the Royals since the All-Star break? and Michael Wacha has 3 of them. July 19th at Miami, last Friday against Toronto, and last night. The only other quality start since the All-Star break came from Seth Lugo in that getaway day Wednesday game in Chicago against the Cubs. Now, that's not to say those have been the only good efforts by starters. There have been other starts in that stretch that have missed the qualifications for a quality start, like Chris Bubish's 5 shutout innings in Miami, Ryan Berger 2 nights ago with 5 2/3 innings, a 2-run ball. But even if you account for the starts that have been quality in one way, but not another way, quality in terms of the runs allowed, but not in terms of the quantity of innings, the Royals have still only gotten about half the time the kind of starting pitching performance that they've grown accustomed to this season. And it's a good thing that Royals lineup has found a spark because the starting pitching has to improve. Michael Wacha being this sharp since the break, a big help. Seth Lugo's got to get back on the bike after a rough start his last time. Noah Cameron's been fine. He's a rookie. He may hit a wall down the stretch. So somebody else, whether that's Bergert or Bailey Falter or whomever, or returning Cole Reagans, if the Royals get him back in September, somebody's going to have to pick up and fill that void. But remarkable that the Royals have still played well, despite the fact that they haven't gotten the kind of quality that they have grown accustomed to from their starting pitching rotation. And there's one guy giving it to them right now, and it's Michael Wacha. Super again last night in a Royals win. We'll take our first time out here on 580 Sports Talk. When we come back, it's Kareem Hunt days until Chiefs kickoff. Are we sure that all of the opening week running backs for the Chiefs are currently on the roster? Interesting thought from Jesse Newell. We'll talk about that, and then Rick Peterson will join us from TopSports.news. We're just getting started on this Thursday of 580 Sports Talk. 29 days away from Chiefs kickoff, their regular season opener against the Chargers. Number 29 for the Kansas City Chiefs is Kareem Hunt. Second season in his second go-round with the Chiefs, and provided a nice spark last year, certainly. Has reinvented himself as the burst has gone, as it inevitably does for an NFL running back. Reinvented himself as something like this short yardage hammerback for the Chiefs. It was Leroy Horde. We were trying to come up with who said it. I think it was off the air. But Leroy Horde is the one, the former NFL running back, who allegedly once told his coaches with the Vikings, if you need a yard, I'm going to get you 3 yards. And if you need 5 yards, I'm going to get you 3 yards. It was allegedly Leroy Horde. Kareem Hunt is that guy for the Chiefs. He is going to be tough and stubborn in short yardage, and I think that's valuable. But can he reinvent himself as a third down back? Because the Chiefs don't have that on the roster right now. They don't have a Jerick McKinnon. They don't have a Samaje Perine. And Jesse Newell wrote in The Athletic the other day, one of his first pieces in his new gig as the Chiefs beat writer over at The Athletic, writing about the running back spot. Quote, at running back, starter Isaiah Pacheco appears to be full strength after suffering fibula and rib injuries last season, but KC doesn't seem to have much explosiveness behind him. Kareem Hunt is a short yardage specialist who turns 30 this week. Free agent pickup Elijah Mitchell has yet to show the burst he had in his earlier days, while 7th-round running back Rashard Smith is super athletic, but still working to pick up the playbook as a sort of receiver-back hybrid. The Chiefs could be on the lookout for a third down back who can both pass protect and provide big playability. Whether that becomes available after roster cuts remains uncertain. Remember, that's where the Chiefs found Perine last year. He was a late cut by the Broncos. Wonder if the Chiefs might still be looking for a running back that would fill that void. I think Kareem Hunt's roster spot is safe anyway. Respected veteran, certainly going to be the short yardage back of choice, the goal line back of choice for this team to start the season. But if Elijah Mitchell hasn't been showing some of that youthful explosion, and you would understand if injuries have sapped that a little bit, he might be the guy looking over his shoulder a little bit and watching that transaction wire very closely when cuts begin. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, Rick Peterson of TopSports.news will join us for the local sports spotlight here on 580 Sports Talk. We are joined on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline by the great Rick Peterson of TopSports.news for the local sports spotlight here on 580 Sports Talk. Pistol joins us every Thursday at this time to talk about the latest and greatest in Shawnee County High School sports and Washburn University athletics. And of course, you can read his work at TopSports.news. Pistol, it's coming around the corner. Teachers are back to work, and the next step, that means it won't be long before we've got high school practices open and games and meets and everything before the end of the month. It's coming right around the corner.
Yeah, and I'm ready. I'm excited. I don't really like this late calendar, but I'm ready to go. Week from Monday, we'll be going, and it won't take long before we're full bore.
We are certainly enjoying the looks at the city players to watch and county players to watch over at TopSports.news as you've rolled those out for the respective fall sports. As you've started putting those together, Pistol, obviously you do so with respect to the talents and the returning talents of all the young men and women that you write about. But is there a sport in particular that you've compiled the list for and gone, wow, there's quite a bit of talent in the area in this particular sport for 2025 in the fall?
All of them have some talent, but I'd say volleyball. Volleyball is pretty deep this year with a bunch of, Hayden's got a good group coming back. Washburn Rural's always good. Seaman's always good. Shawnee Heights is going to be good. It's a really deep year. Silver Lake and Rossville are both going to be good. So I'd say, and football's another deep sport. Soccer is always good, but volleyball probably has the most returning stars.
Let's handle all three of those then, and I'll start on the volleyball side. You mentioned a lot of programs with tremendous amounts of both historic and recent success, and all of them seem like they're pretty loaded for bear going into this year. Last year, we definitely had programs that expected to win at the state level, and even though they fell short, they made great runs at it, like Seaman in 5A, Washburn Rural always in 6A. Who are the programs this year where you look at and say, yeah, this is one that expects to make a lot of noise and should be considered a class favorite in whatever class they might be in?
I think Hayden has enough back to make a run at a 4A title. They're very good. They were starting freshmen like Blakely Walder and Haley Smitline last year. They got some good upperclassmen too, and they lost a 3-set, if I remember, semifinal last year. Came back to get third, and they're the ones. The Wildcats immediately come to mind as a state contender.
Seaman's been a team, won the state title 2 years ago in 5A, reached the final last year with a 41-3 overall record. Obviously, they have some big-time talents that they have to replace, but how talented will they be coming up this year? How much in the mix do you expect them to be?
Well, when you have the kind of talent that they did, and they had such a great senior class last year, you got a bunch of kids that are waiting in the wings that go against those kids every day in practice, get some spot time, and I think they're ready. They've got some. Taliana's got some girls that are ready to step in to the limelight, so to speak. Same with the Washburn Rural, and Washburn Rural lost some good seniors, Layla Collins, Kate Hink, but they had a bunch of underclassmen that played key roles last year. So and Borderwick, I think he expects to make a run at the title every year. I mean, that's their expectation.
Rick Peterson joins us here on 580 Sports Talk for the local sports spotlight. Catch Pistol's writing at TopSports.news and certainly follow along with the city and county athletes to watch lists that are being published over there at TopSports.news. Let's go over to boys soccer, another sport that you mentioned with a lot of returning talent in the area. Washburn Rural, obviously, always good. Shawnee Heights has had a traditionally good program. Topeka West took a big step forward last year in the United Kansas Conference. How real is that momentum for the Charger soccer program? Can they build on that?
Oh, they can build on it because they were very young last year. And, they had some good freshmen, good sophomore. I mean, they're going to be good. And rural is always going to be good, but they got a senior class that's most of them have played at least since their sophomore year that is going to be as good as anybody around. I think they're going to be height, like you said. Heights is always good. But those those Washburn Rural is going to be very good, and they kind of set the tone. I think it's up to 30 now. League titles in a row. So that's where you go first.
Yeah, 30 league titles in a row for Washburn Rural, and a lot back from a team that finished third at state last year. I imagine that they might be looking at that state title, that first place trophy that the girls lifted in the spring, and thinking, all right, maybe it's now our turn to go get one of those in addition to 31 league titles in a row.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They've had some, but it's been a while. So I think that that probably did kind of spur them on to try to follow up. And Rural's as good of a program, boys and girls, as there is in state. But that's always a tough class to win with all the Kansas City talent that comes up. And then Dodge City's been very good too.
Our guest is Rick Peterson of TopSports.news, joining us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline. This is the local sports spotlight here on 580 Sports Talk. We do it every Thursday at this time. We'll shift to the gridiron now, Pistol, and certainly one of the players to watch in the area. Looks like he'll be a player that we get to watch in the area for some years to come. Is Shawnee Heights quarterback Aiden Scott earlier this week announced his commitment to Washburn. The Ichabods have done a great job recruiting the area, recruiting the city of Topeka in recent years, and I think they've got another really good one in Aiden Scott. I think that the sky's the limit for his senior year at Shawnee Heights.
Yeah, and he's got a great receiver to throw to in Tyron Parker, and that was an anomaly last year with Shawnee Heights. They had to completely rebuild their line, and I know they got David Wakes is another great skill position player. They got the skill people to get the job done. If their line comes along, they could turn that 2-7 into 7-2 in a hurry.
Yeah, I would expect to have a much more physically tough Shawnee Heights team. I don't think we're going to see another one quite like that one 2 years in a row for Coach Jason Swift. I mentioned Aiden Scott. He's not the only promising quarterback talent in the area. And how good is the team? How good is football in the area? Start by asking about the quarterbacks, right? So you've got a returning starter, certainly in Aiden Scott, but you've got a returner at Washburn Rural in John Hoytel. You've got Connor Hanica with experience going to take over at Hayden, just to name a couple of really talented signal callers.
Yes, and they will. They'll be those guys you just mentioned. Connor Hanica could have been the start, could be a 3-year starter at quarterback, but he was behind Walmart, who had a great career for the Wildcats. But when Connor had to take over as a sophomore, he did a great job. Got him to the state title game. And then last year he had a very good year as a receiver, and now it's time to go back to quarterback. And I thought Johnny Hoytel did a great job last year too. That was again, Rural had to kind of reload a little bit, after losing the Heim boys and some other great ones like that. But I like Heights. I think Rural is going to be much more competitive this fall.
Topeka High's got a returning quarterback as well in Zane Smith, who's played quite a bit. He was their starter last year, started some games as a sophomore 2 years ago. They made big improvement in Jason Philbeck's first season, won their first 4, but they struggled against their Centennial League competition. In year 2, an experienced quarterback could go a long way in helping them take that step forward and be a little bit more competitive against their Centennial League opposition. Yeah,
and you can be good in the Centennial League, and the record's not always going to show it.
Sure.
When you're playing the Junction Cities and the Manhattans right off the bat, you're gonna have a hard press getting through without a couple of losses. But hey, anymore, and we've talked about this, it's all about keeping your head above water and getting a halfway decent seed for the playoffs, and then see use that tough competition to maybe go a ways in the playoffs.
Rick Peterson covers high school sports and the Washburn University. Let's try that in English, Pistol. Rick Peterson covers high school athletics and the Washburn University Ichabods at TopSports.news. I was just so excited, I got tongue-tied. I wanted to preview the feature you've got up on Oren Busenitz, the offensive lineman at Washburn, who is a former Shawnee Heights Thunderbird, and really enjoyed reading that. And another piece to kind of what we talked about earlier, the job that Washburn has done finding talent, contributing talent, starting level talent from the capital city to be a part of that program. That's a big deal. It makes it really fun to follow.
I was over at practice today, and it was great to see Oren and great to see Kai Thomas and Ty Weber and the Heim boys. It's good. And you got a lot of out-of-state talent and all from all areas. They hit the recruiting trail hard, but it's good to see. I love seeing those guys I've covered for some of them close to 10 years now.
Go read that feature and, of course, all of Pistol stuff at TopSports.news, covering Shawnee County high school sports and the Ichabods. And catch them every Thursday at this time here on 580 Sports Talk for the local sports spotlight. Pistol, it is always a pleasure. Let's do it again next week.
I'll look forward to it.
That is Rick Peterson, and that will send us to a break here. We'll come back. We'll wrap up this 3 o'clock hour, 580 Sports Talk after this. Thanks again to Rick Peterson of TopSports.news for joining us for the local sports spotlight. Always enjoy chatting with Pistol and getting more and more excited about really digging deep into the fall high school sports season and the Ichabod fall sports schedule as well as we get closer and closer to all of that getting underway. Washburn football before the end of the month, high school football the week to follow. It's all right around the bend. And, of course, we'll cover it with Pistol on the local sports spotlight every Thursday, 3:35 here on 580 Sports Talk. Still to come on the program today, we're going to hear some audio from St. Joe. Final practice before the first preseason game for the Kansas City Chiefs today. They'll be en route to Arizona tomorrow. So Andy Reid spoke to the media. We'll hear from Big Red. We'll hear from Patrick Mahomes at the bottom of the 4 o'clock hour. QB1 was interesting as well. We'll talk about the roster taking shape. Something we didn't really get to earlier this week that I wanted to get to. Let's sort of reevaluate going into preseason game number 1. How many 53-man roster locks do we think there are, and how many players are on the bubble? How many roster spots are really up for grabs as the preseason schedule gets underway with Saturday's game in Arizona against the Cardinals? Again, you can hear Saturday night's Chiefs game with Mitch, Holthus, and the crew on our sister station, the Big 94.5 Country. Pregame coverage on Saturday night at 6 with a kickoff at 7 o'clock. Speaking of Mitch, he'll join us for a training camp report at 5:25 this afternoon, so don't miss that. We got What Is Wrong With You coming up in the next hour. We'll have a slate of 580 Sports Talk headlines. We'll play either or over under. We got 2 more full hours. We actually go till 6 today. We got to do our full job. So 2 more hours of 580 Sports Talk coming your way. Let's get it. Hour number 2 of 580 Sports Talk on a Thursday. You get your full component of 580 Sports Talk today. 2 more full hours remaining. We're off at 6. No Royals baseball tonight. Here on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and our Facebook page, WIBW News. I am Dan Lucero. Spencer Dupuis is now here. Spencer, did you get lonely yesterday? You were just you in the booth.
Yeah, one of my buddies texted me, and he was like, was it just you alone at the studio yesterday? I was like, yeah, I didn't get to go to this golf tournament.
Yeah, Brandon got to come hang out. I got to play golf.
But it's okay, because I would have embarrassed myself on the course. So
here's the thing, Spencer. Based only on what you have told me about your golf game, based on your own self-scouting, I haven't seen you play. So I only have your own self-scouting to go on. And what you told me about some of the difficulties you had when you were at the golf simulator at the tee box recently. I am not sure you would have brought enough balls for your round at Firekeeper. Because here's the thing about playing Firekeeper, especially if you'd had to play in the second. Man, it got windy. Yeah. You know that. If you were listening, you certainly know it got windy in the afternoon up there yesterday. We were out at Firekeeper, by the way, yesterday, and we thank those good folks up at Firekeeper Golf Course for having us. We thank Washburn Athletics for having us. It was their Ichabod Kickoff Classic Golf Scramble. I played the morning flight. Afternoon flight, it got pretty blustery. But there's a lot of what you call native area up at Firekeeper. And if you hit your ball in there, don't bother looking for it.
Yeah.
Just don't bother. Like, I hit it good for like by my standard, not like by PGA Tour standards, but like my personal standard, I'm hitting the ball really well right now. Like, at the same time, there were, I think, 3 different holes where immediately off the club face, I knew the ball that I had hit off the tee with my driver, I was never going to see again. Like, wave goodbye as my top flights disappeared into the native area. If you really like went in there looking for golf balls, like I bet if somebody goes in there like at the end of every week, they would have enough golf balls to last themselves like an entire summer.
Oh, I bet.
So it is it's a tough course. It's not for the beginner. And frankly, I'm not good enough to play it without losing a bunch. I lost half a dozen balls yesterday, and that's me hitting the ball as well as I ever have in my life. Lost half a dozen balls yesterday. So, but it was a good time. Again, appreciate Firekeeper for having the show yesterday. Appreciate Washburn University Athletics for letting yours truly be a part of the golf. And appreciate Spencer for holding it down, man. He had to hold it down. He had to make the phone calls. He had to do the damn thing back up here. And he handles your business. We appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
We appreciate
And I had to, do 3 giveaways, so. Yeah,
we did the giveaways, gave away those tickets. Nah, man, you handle business. We appreciate that. And glad to, I'm sure it's nice to look across the glass and not see like an empty room. It is disconcerting. For somebody who's had to do it before, it is very disconcerting that you are running a show and you're looking across the glass and there ain't nobody there.
Yeah.
It is. It is disconcerting. Anyhow, it's the 2 of us until 6 o'clock today, and we still got lots of great stuff to bring you on 580 Sports Talk, including audio from St. Joe today, Chiefs training camp continuing, and the Chiefs wrapping up practice today. They're going to get on a plane, I think, tomorrow and fly to Phoenix, and then they will play their first preseason game on Saturday night against the Arizona Cardinals. Again, a reminder that if you want to listen to Mitch Holthus and the Chiefs Radio Network broadcast of the preseason opener on Saturday night, you'll have to flip your dial over to our sister station, the Big 94.5 Country. We'll have Royals baseball against the Twins here on 580 on Saturday night. So the Chiefs will be on the Big 94.5 Country on Saturday night in their preseason opener. Andy Reid spoke to the media. We'll play that for you here in a little bit. Patrick Mahomes spoke to the media. We'll play that for you at the bottom of this hour. Mitch Holthus will join us at 5:25 today for yet another training camp report presented by Hy-Vee and Zurich Credit Union. We'll get a chance to chat with Mitch ahead of the preseason opener. Mitch will not join us live. He'll send us a canned training camp report tomorrow. And that's what we'll play on tomorrow's edition of 580 Sports Talk. We've also still got What Is Wrong With You, 580 Sports Talk headlines, and either or over under to come. And I want to hear from you throughout the program today. If you are watching on our YouTube stream, 580 Sports Talk, hop on into the live chat. We've gotten it humming today. Appreciate everybody who is being a part of the live chat today on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. We have added a YouTube subscriber today. We're up to 779, 21 away from the arm wrestling duel of the century between myself and Brendan Dworzinski. So you can go get us closer to that 800 subscriber number. If you are not already a YouTube subscriber, go subscribe to the YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. We've got our show up there every day. We've got the archives. We got the ability, if you are watching the show live, to participate in the live chat as well. You can also text the show, 785-272-9429. That is 785-272-9429. I got some good advice from the 785 on how to get around Firekeeper from the 785. Appreciate that. Hit it 310 all day and just stay out of those deep bunkers. I have to tell you this. I'm not driving the ball 310 unless it's straight downhill and I get a lot of rollout. I'm not I got some dad strength. I'm hitting the ball longer than I have, but 310 is a bit of a pipe dream for me. I will tell you this. There is one hole. This is 8. 8 has an elevated tee box. It's 262, I believe, is what we measured on our cards. It's 260 to like a creek area, like native, out of play, like got to take a drop. 260, you carry that. It's probably about 280. And I didn't quite carry it. I hit it into the, but like,
270.
I'm not sure.
270.
I'm not sure I wasn't sure I could hit a 260. That's a new development. That's a dad strength development right there. I'm gassing up my golf game too much. That's enough of that. Let's talk some football, shall we? But appreciate the text, 785-272-9429. Good injury news from camp today. Christian Fulton is off the PUP list. He is the last of the PUP list guys. He was back as a practice participant today. Drew Tranquil also back today. They're easing both of those guys back in. Hollywood Brown and Rashee Rice continued to not practice, but both are getting work in on the side. Nobody seems real concerned with Rice in particular and the groin injury that he picked up at some time earlier this week. Would imagine that he will be held out of Saturday's game. Would imagine the same for Hollywood Brown and anybody else who didn't practice today. That would mean Jake Brenningstool. I don't think they'd play Christian Fulton. I don't think they'll play Drew Tranquil. I think those players are all going to sit out on Saturday. But having Christian Fulton back is a big deal. He's a guy that now you can really feel like is going to play week 1. You know, the further along you get into camp and a guy hasn't practiced, particularly with a new team, you start to wonder about that week 1 availability because you're doing all this install and they got to get on the field. They got to get up to speed. Well, now that Christian Fulton's going to be able to do that between now and 29 days from now, when the Chiefs and the Chargers open the regular season, you feel a lot better. He's going to be ready to face his former team and play in the role that the Chiefs defense is going to ask him to play. And him and Jalen Watson and Trent McDuffie, I'm not sure there are too many better trios of starting corners in the league than those 3 guys. So getting Fulton back, big deal, and excited to hear that he was back in practice today.
Yeah, I mean, I think you obviously not going to play on Saturday, but I think you give him today. He's going to get 3 days off probably, or 4 days off. They're not going to practice again until Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good way to ease him back in.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't play in the second preseason game and then maybe get some snaps in the third just to get up to speed if he needs them. Chiefs a lot of times won't play a lot of their starters in that third preseason game, but might be some value in getting Fulton some snaps. And it might be one of those. He's a veteran guy. It might be one of those where they just ask, "Hey, do you need the reps? Do you need to be out there, or do you feel comfortable enough that you can go play a real game as your first one?" So that'll remain to be seen. But yeah, it was good to see him back on the practice field today. And same for Drew Tranquil, who had picked up that back injury last week and had been on the sideline for the better part of the week as well. Before we get to Andy Reid, we're going to play his remarks from earlier today. You're going to hear him talk about a quarter for the starters. If you followed the Chiefs for any length of time, you know the drill here. It's a quarter in theory, but the only way that the offense plays, or Patrick Mahomes in particular, plays the first quarter is if they have one drive in the entire quarter. It'll be one drive. And if they go 3 and out and it stinks, maybe they'll have a second drive, but also probably not. Like, it's one drive for Mahomes and for most of the first team offense. It'll probably be one drive for the defense, unless, again, it's really stinky. They give up like an 80-yard touchdown, and they might run back out there for a second series. But bet the under on one quarter for the starters, the presumptive starters for the Kansas City Chiefs coming up on Saturday. I meant to do this earlier in the week, didn't really get around to it, but it might be more instructive to do today after the final practice before the start of preseason. Where does the Chiefs roster stand? How many sure things are on the roster, and how many guys are on the border with a roster spot up for grabs? I started with 44 guys I was pretty certain are going to make the roster, up now to 48. I think there are 48 guys, 48 of the 53 roster spots, barring injury or, in Rashee Rice's case, NFL discipline, 48 roster spots spoken for. I'll run through the names real fast. Patrick Mahomes, Gardner Minshew, Isaiah Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Jalen Royals, Juju Smith-Schuster, Tyquan Thornton, Travis Kelce, Noah Gray, Josh Simmons, Jalen Moore, Kingsley Suamataia, Mike Caliendo, Creed Humphrey, Hunter Norzad, Trey Smith, Jawan Taylor, Wanye Morris, George Karlaftis, Charles Amenahu, Felix Anudike-Uzama, Mike Dana, Ashton Gelati, Chris Jones, Jerry Tillery, Omar Norman-Lott, Mike Pinnell, Nick Bolton, Drew Tranquil, Leo Chanel, Cam Jones, Jack Cochran, Jeffrey Bassa, Trent McDuffie, Christian Fulton, Jalen Watson, Noel Williams, Nazeeh Johnson, Brian Cook, Jaden Hicks, Chamari Connor, Mike Edwards, Harrison Butker, Matt Araiza, James Winchester. 48 guys. I don't think any of them have to worry about the Turk. That's what they call, that's the old mythical, the Turk wants to see you. That's when you're getting cut. Hey, Coach, I don't think they do that anymore.
Hey, bring your playbook. The coach wants to see you.
Bring your playbook. The Turk wants your playbook.
Hey, bring your iPad. The coach wants to see you.
Yeah, it's all newfangled now. All that stuff I read about in books as a kid, and none of that is
bring your Surface anymore. Tablet.
Bring your Microsoft Surface. Yeah, be a company man.
Yeah.
Bring your Microsoft Surface. Exactly. So 48 guys feel like locks. If there's one guy who is, I think, close to being a lock at this point, it's Robert Tonyan. He's had a really good camp. I don't know, and Brendan, of course, our resident Packer knower on our program, is really skeptical that Robert Tonyan's got a whole lot in the tank, but he looks rejuvenated. Didn't play a whole lot of football last year, only dressed for 5 games for the Vikings. So maybe a functional year off from playing in NFL games has been good for his legs, rejuvenated him physically, because he's had a really, really standout camp, and he looks like the front runner to be tight end number 3 for this team.
Which is kind of wild, I think, when you look back at Robert Tonyan. He's a journeyman guy, essentially, that, landed on the Chiefs practice squad at the end of last year because of the injuries that they had at the time. And it's kind of crazy that he could make the roster, and obviously a guy fighting for a spot in the tight end room, Jake Brenningstool, he'll probably be an IR.
Yeah, he might
starting to really feel like the you hurt your hamstring. You tore your hamstring, buddy.
Yeah, it might be one of those where he's IR'd, or either way, I don't think there'll be enough film on him. I think he's probably. Chiefs obviously like him, or liked him enough to give him a good size guarantee as a UDFA, a priority UDFA. I think the idea is to keep him on the practice squad at this point, and that would seem to be smooth sailing for Jared Wiley to be tight end 4, but obviously he's been on and off the field, still recovering in some ways from that ACL injury he suffered last year. So anyway, 48 guys are locks. You add in Tonyan as tight end number 3, that's 49. By my accounting, that leaves the Chiefs short, obviously, 4 guys. I think 2 of them are going to be running backs. I think one of them is going to be a tight end. We've talked all offseason, all through camp. The Chiefs run enough 3 tight end stuff that I think they see value in carrying or rostering 4 tight ends. Even if they don't activate all 4 every game, I think they see the value in that. So I think they're going to keep a tight end, 2 running backs, 1 tight end, and then 1 wild card spot. Like, at this point, I kind of think that might be the Dave Tobe spot. That might be Andy Reid goes to Dave Tobe, say, who do you want? Who do you want on special teams? And that'll be the roster. You want is Remigio your guy at returns? Do you like Roland Wallace as a coverage guy? Cooper McDonald's had a really nice camp at linebacker. You like him as a potential core special teamer? Who do you like? That might be the Dave Tobe spot. So call it the Dave Tobe spot. By my accounting, once again, we got 9 guys fighting realistically for 4 spots. I know Mitch Holthus talked up the linebacker room yesterday.
He really did.
Brandon George has had a good camp as a UDFA. I just mentioned Cooper McDonald. Oh, my gosh. Cole Christensen has played. He's been a practice squad elevation for the Chiefs. He's another guy that could be in the mix as well. Go ahead and add him to the list, honestly. Make it 10 guys for those 4 spots. But the guys on the border right now feel like Elijah Mitchell, Rashard Smith, Carson Steele, Nico Remigio, Jared Wiley. You could kind of consider Jake Brenningstool here, but I agree with you, Spencer. I think that's trending toward an IR or the practice squad. He just hasn't been on the field enough to crack the 53. Cole Christensen, Cooper McDonald, Joshua Williams, and Chris Roland Wallace. That's where I think the Royals, the Chiefs, stand right now as far as those are the guys who are on the board. But we talked earlier in the show, in case you missed it, 29 days from Chiefs Chargers, so it's Kareem Hunt days until Chiefs kickoff. I thought that was a really interesting note that Jesse Newell had in his article at The Athletic earlier this week, that the Chiefs might be still on the lookout for a 3rd down running back. And if that guy's not on their roster right now, and I don't think he is, like, I don't think Kareem Hunt is the stand-in, pass protect, throw a block, but also catch passes and be explosive out of the backfield. I don't think he's a Samaje Perine type. I don't think he's a Jerick McKinnon type. I don't think Isaiah Pacheco is a particularly good pass protector. I think Rashard Smith has never been asked to pass protect. It ain't going to be him as the 3rd down back. It ain't going to be Elijah Mitchell either. So I really wonder if I think they're going to keep 4 running backs. I don't think Pacheco certainly has anything to worry about. And I don't think Kareem Hunt has anything to worry about. And I think that there's enough versatility with Rashard Smith, plus his return game capabilities. I think he can feel good. I think if I'm Elijah Mitchell, I'm a little nervous, especially if the reports are true that, like, what we saw early in the career of Elijah Mitchell, he's not getting to that in camp, according to Jesse Newell's writing, according to some of the reports. He's just not showing that burst that he once had. So that is a roster spot. There might be a running back that makes the 53 that we don't know their name right now because they're on somebody else's roster, and they're grinding away looking for a spot. And they're like Samaje Perine, who I still don't know how the Broncos let him get, A, cut him, and B, let him get to the Chiefs. That was that was very fun. That's why the Broncos are the Broncos and the Chiefs are the Chiefs right now. I mean, that's just one of those examples.
Where'd Samaje end up?
I think he's back with the Bengals. Do not Google just Perine because it will autofill to perineum, and you don't want to Google that at work. Samaje Perine back with the Bengals. I got to bail immediately on that thought. Let's get to Andy Reid, shall we? Andy Reid spoke to the media earlier today in St. Joe. Here's what Big Red had to say.
All right, so this is what you got. Injury-wise, Brenningstool, Marquise Brown, Jones, Rice. Can you guys hear me all right? Yeah. All right. They did not play. The guys that came back were Fulton and Drew Tranquil. Came back and did some individual work. And then the guys at the end there, Lovett tweaked his ankle, but he came back in. And then Smith hurt his finger, but they're going to take care of him up there. He should be all right. All in all, a good practice. Long one today. The guys got a lot of reps in and worked their tail off getting through. We had a little bit of heat today, but I thought the effort was definitely there. One's got a lot of reps in particular. So, anyways, with that, as far as the game goes, since I know you're going to go that direction, the quarterbacks, we situated off the quarterbacks, so they'll each get a quarter. So the first one will be Pat. Second one, yes, Minshew, and then Zappy, and then Chris at the end there. All right, so each one gets a quarter. And then everybody kind of follows that as we go. All right? Any questions? Time's yours.
Coach, Drew Godrich's been running with the second team off.
Yeah.
What have you seen him in visiting? Where does he kind of fit in there?
Yeah, he's actually doing a good job. I'm talking about Chew here. So he's actually doing a good job out there. He's worked guard, he's worked tackle, trying to get into that flex position where he can help out and compete. But he's having a good camp so far. I look forward to seeing him in the games.
Is it an international guy? Do you feel like he's ready for maybe the NFL in the regular season?
Yeah, well, he's getting there for sure. Yeah, for sure. This will be a big camp for him as we go. Yeah.
Just considering with the new offensive line starting, is there any consideration of leaving the name a little longer maybe than the previous years?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'll play that by ear, but probably not more than a quarter. So
Andy, I think these games will matter for everybody, particularly for rookies that haven't played against the NFL competition. What's the meaning of that?
Yeah, so it's important that they get in. Now they're in front of some bright lights, and it takes it up one more notch. Not quite the season, but you're still in front of a big crowd and against another team. So your adrenaline level gets pushed to another level, and let's see how we do. Yeah.
Would you consider the Rice's scoring issues minor?
Yeah, it seems to be, but I'd be cautious with that thing.
Did you watch
I did, yeah. He was in town, so yeah. Listen, it's great. It's great to have him. I've watched him grow up, and he's a dad now. His son's with the 49ers, doing a nice job. And he's got a daughter that's a heck of a volleyball player, and just watching people grow, I think is a great position that I'm in to see that. And he's got a good heart. Keo's got a good heart. Yeah.
So the ESPN documentary series starts coming out next week. What was kind of getting in depth like that is a little bit different, at least a different side of you. What kind of went into the decision to do that?
Well, our owner asked me to do it. So, it's not really my deal, but that's, he's my boss. And so I jumped in on it. And if I'm going in, I'm going in. So I normally go all in.
Is there any time where is it intrusive or you felt like, gosh, I wish we weren't doing this?
No, I thought the people handled it well. I thought they really did a good job of not being a distraction. I worry about that. And one reason I don't like doing those things. But I thought they actually really handled themselves well, where I wasn't having to tell people, get back, get out of here, do that. That's not what it was. And so my hat goes off to them for handling it that way.
Coach Reed, when evaluating the ones in the preseason game, what do you need to see to know that, all right, they're good?
Well, you'd like us to do well, but I know we have other preseason games to really answer your question if I'm going to be truthful about it. So go out and do the best you can. I'm going to keep the numbers down. So the first game, and then we'll see about the second game.
And just a thought on practice today, it seemed to go a little longer than a final practice before a game. Is there a specific reason it's going longer?
Yeah, we don't. Listen, I've told you before, we don't spend a ton of time on the game part of it. We try to get our work done in here. I think that's most important right now. We'll give them some stuff this afternoon and talk about it. And they get a walkthrough tomorrow, with the mock game. So, but we're not spending a ton of time on it. And I imagine they're doing the same thing. So, but it's always good to go against somebody else and have a little competition that way.
So that was Andy Reid on a variety of topics after practice today, including the upcoming ESPN 6-part series, The Kingdom, debuts in a week next Thursday.
Yeah, it does.
That comes out on ESPN Plus. Why'd you do it, Coach? Well, The owner asked me to.
Well, I got to follow those orders.
My boss told me I had to do it.
Yeah.
Hey, whom among us? Even Andy Reid has a boss, right? Also, some thoughts in the beginning about Jason Godric, Chukwuemeka Godric, the international pathway player. We might get to see him quite a bit on Saturday in the preseason opener. And yeah, Terrell Owens was at practice today.
Interesting.
Didn't play for Andy Reid long, but Andy Reid's, he has he's got love for those wayward souls.
It is interesting. Like one day this week, they had Antonio Pierce there, and the next day, Terrell Owens was in town. Who's going to be in town next Monday?
Great question. What's Brian Westbrook doing? Is Brian Dawkins, is he employed by a team or bring back Andy Reid's old players, says a lot about the man, frankly, that the players that we would, consider to be, oh, these guys were malcontents. Oh, these guys were bad guys. They love Andy Reid. Everybody loves Andy Reid. That's all you need to know about Big Red for sure. We'll hear from Patrick Mahomes. He spoke as well today in St. Joe. We'll hear from him in just a little bit. But first, we'll take a timeout and come back with What is Wrong with You on 580 Sports Talk. So what is wrong with you time on 580 Sports Talk? Our current weekly champion remains the Meat Wall Bandits, the gentleman who stole $1,500 worth of meat off the meat wall at Walmart and 8 buns and some individually sized bags of Lay's potato chips. They were going to have a cookout.
I really want to know what they were planning.
I do too.
Were they going to sell the meat? Or were then leave some for themselves? That would make sense if they had that much of the buns and the chips.
2 new stories today. I called my shot with mine.
I heard you touted it as the winner for August.
So I'm going to let you go first, and we'll see. We'll see if mine lives up to the hype, because I'm telling you, I think it's really good. What's your story, Spence?
All right, we're going to go to Florida. Florida man, deputies in the Keys arrested a man that they say stole lobsters out of traps hours before the beginning of commercial and regular lobster season. According to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Marine deputies were on patrol around 11:45 p.m. on Tuesday night when they saw a blacked out 17-foot Mako boat with a lobster trap aboard. The deputy said Dorgas Rodriguez Lagunas, 40, dumped the trap in the water after being commanded not to do so. Then he picked up a cooler and dumped approximately 30 lobsters back into the water and placed his hands on his head, according to MCSO. He was detained. The trap was retrieved from the water. He was taken to jail, and the boat was impounded pending investigation. He was charged with trap molestation, possession of out-of-season lobster, and tampering with evidence.
So those are some wild crimes. Of all of the crimes that we've had people charged with on What Is Wrong With You, I don't know that we've ever had a trap molestation or a possession of out-of-season lobster charge.
Yeah.
Tampering with evidence we've had, but the other two, I think those are brand new. Those are first in What Is Wrong With You history.
Yeah.
Had to go steal the lobster. All right, for my story today, we're going to Los Angeles. We meet 4 people: Ruben Tamrazian, Ararat Chirkinian, Vahi Mudredkanyan, and Alfia Zuckerman. They were, on January 28th in 2024, shocked to find damage to their vehicles caused by a bear. A bear damaged their vehicles. A 2010 Rolls-Royce Ghost, a 2015 Mercedes G63 AMG, and a 2022 Mercedes E350. It's not just any cars, some nice cars, some luxury cars, damaged by a bear. And they claimed this and sent in video to support their insurance claims because they had video of the bear doing damage to their vehicles. One problem, and if you're watching on the YouTube, we're going to get you a picture of the bear. If you're watching our YouTube channel right now, 580 Sports Talk, or watching on Facebook, WIBW News, I'm going to throw up a picture of the bear that did the damage to these 3 luxury vehicles that resulted in over $300,000 in insurance claims being paid out. Here's a picture of the bear. If I may quote former Royals pitcher Danny Duffy, it's a bear suit, Joel. They put on a bear suit and meat claws. Have you seen those? Like when you're shredding like a piece of like brisket or something, you're shredding meat, you get the meat claws. So they had meat claws and a bear suit, and they went to town, or somebody went to town on their cars. Upon further scrutiny of the video, said the California Department of Insurance, the investigation determined the bear was actually a person in a bear costume. Investigators even went to the lengths of asking a biologist from the California Department of Fish and Wildlife to review the video, who said it was, quote, clearly a human in a bear suit. The bear costume, as you can see, was recovered at the suspect's home. Photos provided by insurance investigators showed surface-level scratch marks on the seats and door panels of the cars. It was later determined that the scratches were made from the meat claws. All 4 defendants are facing 3 counts each of insurance fraud and defrauding an insurer in their scheme, which they referred to as Operation Bear Claw. They damaged they had somebody put on a bear suit and just scratching their cars with these meat hooks. They're like, you know what? We can get a big insurance payment on this. I'm not really fussed about these scratches. That ain't no thing. That's not that big a deal. We just want the money. How can we get some money? How can we do a little insurance fraud? I know. Anybody got a bear suit? Anybody got a line on a bear suit? It's a very lifelike bear suit. I have to say, the jaw, the mouth in particular, very lifelike. The claws, very lifelike. Again, you can see this if you're watching on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. The meat claws. Yeah. I'm not a fan of those, to be honest with you. I've used those. I got some like plastic ones to use, try shred a brisket. I'm good with just using forks. I felt like I could do the forks, control the forks better than I could control those the metal meat claws. Those are a little better, perhaps. But yeah, these four got together and were like, hey, you want to do some insurance fraud together? Yeah, bet. Anybody got any ideas? I got a bear suit. I a cousin who will put on the bear suit and just hack away at our cars with what? How are we going to make them lifelike scratches? Ah, man.
Don't worry, I got this.
Hey, I got this. Hey, I just had some pulled pork last night. You know, we can use those.
Let me go out. It's sitting under my smoker.
Yeah, let me grab some of these. Get a guy to put on the bear suit. I can't believe they thought that was going to work. And the investigators, the Department of Insurance watching this video like, man, something looks kind of hinky here. This bear is surprisingly nimble on two legs. Moving a little unnaturally.
Yeah.
But hey, just to make sure, let me holler at the Bureau of Wildlife. Let me holler at them and just make sure. Hey, do I know ball or do I not know ball with this bear? Like, am I onto something here? And the Department of Fish and Wildlife, yeah, man, that's not a bear.
Yeah.
Like,
we know what bears look like and walk like and act like. That is not one.
If it looks like a bear, but it doesn't walk like a bear, and it doesn't growl like a bear, and it has meat claws in its bear paws, it ain't a bear. Operation Bear Claw. Does that win today?
Oh, yeah.
Does that win the week so far?
Yeah, sadly, yeah. I thought our Monday's winner was going to stay the winner the whole week.
It's a good story, but it ain't a bear suit.
Nope.
Operation Bear Claw is our new weekly champion. We'll see if it can win the week tomorrow on What Is Wrong With You. We'll take a timeout, come back. We'll hear from Patrick Mahomes next, 580 Sports Talk. I'm glad I did not overpromise on a What Is Wrong With You that underdelivered. The reviews are in. Text from the 316. All-time great What Is Wrong With You today. Dan Ranger in the YouTube comments says story of the year potential. Ryan agrees that might win the year. Operation Bear Claw.
Whoa. It is only August.
It's only August 7th.
There's a lot more dumb people out there.
I'm not calling my shot the rest of the year, but I do think the bear suit's got a real shot. It's a good one. It's a good one. Sometimes you just know when you're in the presence of what is wrong with your greatness. And we knew it for sure. Speaking of being in the presence of greatness, Patrick Mahomes spoke at Chiefs camp in St. Joe earlier today. Here's what QB1 had to say.
Hey, Patrick, can we go back a few months before the draft? You're a big draft guy. I just wonder what you thought of Josh Simmons when you were researching him, thinking about him, all those.
I told Beach when I watched him that he was really good. I think that was the biggest thing. I mean, obviously, the health stuff and stuff like that, I can't be there for those medical stuff and everything like that. But when you watch him on tape, I mean, you realize how talented he was, how strong he was, the way he was able to move. And so good for us that we were able to get him and that he's gotten here and he's been healthy so far. And so he's done a great job, man. I mean, he's gotten better and better. He's learning. And obviously he's had some highlights and made some big plays, but it's about getting better and better, and he's continuing to do that.
It is camp, but do you feel like Noah Gray's maybe taking another step?
Yeah, I think you saw that last year, and I think he's just carrying that momentum into this season. He makes plays. I mean, he's not like the guy that's going to go out and like be vocalized about it or kind of show off or showboat or anything like that. He just goes out there and he does his job to the best of his ability, and whenever he gets the opportunity, he makes the play happen. And so that's a guy that I trust a lot. He's learned a ton from Trav. And I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be a vital part of our offense as we continue to push the game moving forward.
Squeeze a lot of passing like during this camp. Is that because it's training camp or experimenting with stuff? Do you want to do more of that?
No, we definitely want to push the ball down the field and push the ball into tighter windows this year. I mean, we got the guys that can make the contested catches. I think y'all seen that out here, and the guys are. We told them we're going to give them a chance, and they got to prove to us that they can make those plays, and they're proving that. And so Coach Reed has been adamant about pushing the ball and trying to make plays happen, and we've been having success with it, and the goal is to keep that going throughout the regular season.
Even with those tighter windows, is it require mentality for you to not maybe see a wide opening? I mean, you threw that pass in Taekwondo a couple days ago where it didn't look open at all. He still catches it. I mean, is it required adjustment for you mentally there?
I mean, that's how I've always played. I mean, this last few years, I would say was abnormal of not pushing the ball down the field, not being an attacking mindset. And so we're trying to get back to that. And so giving guys chances to make plays. We got the receivers. We got the offensive line blocking. Let's give the guys chances to make plays down the field. And if it's one-on-one, we think our guys are going to win.
So what you experienced last year against the amount of injuries, how much did that affect your ability to sort of maybe push a little bit more than you want to be accustomed to, or does that help you when you get back to being fully healthy?
Yeah, I think it's you don't want it to affect you. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I mean, obviously, last year we didn't play our best offensive football, but to be a great quarterback in this league, you got to stand in there, take the hits, and make the throws. And I think you see the greats do that. And so for me, being able to get back to that mindset and trusting the offensive line, they've done a great job this camp so far, and I'm going to trust in those guys standing there, make those throws, and let guys make plays.
What do you want rookies and first-year players to know about their first NFL experience?
Yeah, I think it's going out there and doing what they've done this camp. I mean, obviously it's going to be a bigger stage. You're going up against another team. But I think Coach Reed prepares us better than anybody else in the league to go out there and play your best football, and that's because we practice hard, we practice fast. And so when you get to the game, it's not that huge step up. It's a step up for sure, but it's not that huge step up. So go out there like you practice, have the right mindset, and just play fast and let the rest handle itself.
Given the injuries to receivers right now, how impressive have you been with Brownlee and Gordon?
Yeah, I mean, those guys got to step up and make plays, and they've done that. And that speaks to the depth of our receiving room this year, and being able to have some guys that just have little nicks and bruises here and there, and they get to rest a little bit, rest their bodies, and other guys step up and make plays. That's a good sign to see. And so Coach Reed, Veach, all those guys brought in a lot of great talented players, and they're making plays whenever they get the opportunity to.
Perhaps you looking forward to throwing against another defense on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily look forward to getting hit. Like, I always like getting hit once, but it's still a shock. I mean, going up against Spags is always tough, but it'll be a good defense that we're going up against, and they have a great scheme and a great coach. And so I'm just excited to see where we're at. Go out there, see where we're at, get hopefully a couple series and go out there and then play some good football.
the last thing for me. A lot of talk about smelling salts over the last couple of games. You use smelling salt now?
I'm not a big smelling salt guy. I'm not really hitting people though, and so I know guys are like people do use those not for bad reasons to get themselves ready to go, and so I know we can bring them, but they can't provide them. I don't know how that works, but I'm sure we'll figure out a way. Some people will figure out a way to get the smelling salts out there. I mean, it's a vital part of the football game.
Travis said that the ball's coming out of your hand fast. You've got a live arm. Your mind is better than it's ever been. Do you feel like you're in a position to be your best the next couple of years?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think that's not just me. That's I think we brought in the players to do that. You know, Beach, like I said, has brought in a lot of great receivers and tight ends and running backs to make plays. The offensive line, we got depth there. They're playing some great football. And then my mindset is to let these guys go out there and make plays. And so I think sometimes you try to do too much when you have too much information. And I feel like at times these last years I've done that, just being smarter and being able to see stuff. But at the end of the day, it's football. And if you think it's one-on-one and your guy can beat that guy, let him have a chance to make a play.
Last three, Nick, Nate, and Vahe.
Patrick, for you, what's been your different approach this year to camp to kind of put yourself at an even higher level than you've been before?
Yeah, I wanted to up my mentality. You know, sometimes you get to camp and you just want to go out there and dominate the day, but I want to dominate every single rep. You know, I want to make sure we're getting the best out of that we can out of every single rep that we get on the field. If that's even like we had a shift in motions period today where we're just going through the shifts in the motions. I want to make sure that we're getting set, doing those things the right way, and that carries through the entire practice. And there's no days off. You got to get better and better every day, no bad days. And I think that's been something that we've been great at this camp.
Nate.
Madden rating. I saw Bobby's tweet in relation to that. I know you're further along in your career, but does the Madden rating do anything to you, or is there any reaction you have to?
I mean, I like playing Madden, so I would like to be rated higher, but I got to play and showcase that stuff on the football field. And so I believe if I go out there and play the football that I want to play, that we can get to 99 pretty quickly.
Go ahead.
Patrick, the people that made the Kingdom documentary describe you as a partner in that. I wonder if you could describe what that means, and have you seen it yet?
I've seen parts for sure. It's a great documentary, and I think obviously the season is part of it, but it's great to see the history of the Kansas City Chiefs. And I saw stuff that I didn't even know. I thought I knew everything about the Kansas City Chiefs. And so the Hunt family, the Kansas City Chiefs, Disney, they all did it the right way, and for them to let me be a part of it in some way, in some form. Well, it was really cool for me, but I got to do that after the season. So now we're back to football, but it is cool to see stuff like that done because I've loved those documentaries my whole entire life, and so seeing how the bread is buttered, it was really cool.
So did you have like some editorial say? Were you working on the cutting room floor?
I mean, I do stuff here and there, but like I'm very low on the totem pole. I mean, it's more of like, hey, let's just keep this code word out of there so I can use it this next year and stuff like that. Nothing too crazy as far as those people are amazing at their job, so I'm gonna let them handle that.
That was Patrick Mahomes earlier today in St. Joe talking to the assembled media. Chiefs are off tomorrow on their way to Phoenix for the preseason opener on Saturday against the Cardinals. We'll take a timeout, come back, wrap up this hour of 580 Sports Talk next. Wrapping up this second hour on 580 Sports Talk. One more full hour to go. First time this week we've actually had to do a full 3 hours. Royals are off tonight. Back in action tomorrow against Minnesota, starting a 3-game series. But that's a Central Time Zone affair, not the Eastern Time earlier start. So rather than break off at 5:30, which we've done the last 3 nights, we have a full final hour of 580 Sports Talk up ahead, which means we've got a full component of 580 Sports Talk headlines. It also means Mitch Holthus, the voice of the Chiefs, will join us at 5:25, presented by Hy-Vee and Azure Credit Union. A training camp report from Mitch. We'll talk about one of the newly well-compensated members of the Chiefs, the big right guard, Trey Smith. He'll be our focus today on the training camp report. We'll also play a little either or over-under in the final hour of the show as well. Your text still welcome, 785-272-9429. Your thoughts in the YouTube chat still very much encouraged. If you're watching on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, go subscribe today. We've added a couple of new subscribers. We're up to 780, 20 more subscribers. And Brendan and I are going to arm wrestle on camera during an edition of 580 Sports Talk. We're very much looking forward to that. Stay with us. One more hour, 580 Sports Talk coming up after the news.
buying the gas they already needed. Don't wait. Download the free Upside app now and use promo code ADULT to redeem your 25-cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code ADULT. Yeah, at first I thought it was too good to be true, but it's completely legit. Plus, you can cash out anytime. Don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now by using limited time promo code ADULT. That's promo code ADULT for a limited time 25 cents per gallon bonus. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Oh no, stomach issues again? Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Your updated forecast on 580 WIBW. Heat advisory begins at 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon and continues until 8 p.m. tomorrow night. Mainly sunny skies this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 94. Southerly winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Mainly clear skies again. Tonight lows dip down to about 78. I'm meteorologist Ray Miller in the Capitol Federal Weather Center. Currently 93.
Stay connected online at 580WIBW.com.
Let's get it. Final hour of this Thursday edition of 580 Sports Talk. So glad you're here on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com. And a special welcome to those watching our YouTube stream, 580 Sports Talk, or watching on Facebook at WIBW News. Dan Lucero, Spencer Dupuis, hanging out with you until 6 o'clock tonight. One more hour of Sports Talk coming your way on this Thursday. Mitch Holthus, voice of the Chiefs, join us in about 20 minutes for a training camp report brought to us by Hy-Vee and Azura Credit Union. We'll talk in about Trey Smith today on the training camp report with Mitch. Again, that's coming up in, call it 18 minutes from right now. Got some either or over under to do. Got some NFL and other sports headlines, or 580 Sports Talk headlines to get to today. Did you realize, I did not, honest to goodness, until this morning, there are 3 NFL preseason games tonight. Did you know that?
Vaguely. I knew that they were starting this week.
Had no clue.
The Commanders play Friday, and I knew they weren't the first slate of games. That's the only thing I knew. I didn't know who was playing or how many games. I just knew that the Commanders playing Friday. I knew that there was Thursday at least one game.
There are 3 preseason games today. And what makes it, I guess, a little more galling that I didn't know is that my ostensible favorite team, the Seattle Seahawks, is playing tonight. Seattle's playing Vegas in Seattle. Pete Carroll and Geno Smith's homecoming. Oh my goodness. We'll see Geno for like 3 snaps. If that. That is the late game tonight. NFL Network's going to show that game. They're going to show the Colts-Ravens game in Baltimore. The other game is Cincinnati and Philadelphia tonight. So, yeah, there are 3 preseason games. I had no idea. My favorite team played one. No clue. That's how dialed in I am. 1, anymore to the team I grew up rooting for, but 2, to preseason football in general.
Yeah. The one thing I did is I did set the DVR for Saturday.
For the Chiefs game.
Yeah, so I can at least know what I'm talking about come Monday.
Naturally. No,
because I'm going to be in Manhattan still at that point.
Yeah, so. We got Rock the Plains this weekend. You're checking out Rock the Plains out at Tuttle Creek. I will be there for part of it. You'll be
back just in time for Chiefs kickoff.
Yeah.
And to put your son down.
Chiefs kickoff is just in time for bedtime, what that is. So
you'll just go back. You'll see Matt Mahomes' first drive, and then you'll turn it off at like halftime.
I'm gonna DVR it, and I'll watch the relevant portions. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm probably gonna fast forward through Bailey Zappi on offense. I might make a note of who's out there but I'm not going to be grinding the tape. I'm not coming back on Monday with a detailed evaluation of all of like CJ Hansen snaps.
Hey, I'm going to grind the tape for my guy Nazi.
I appreciate that.
I want to see what he could do because he's apparently been doing better than he did last year during games. So
yeah,
I want to see it.
There is like stuff to be gleaned. We talked to Matt Bergeram about this on Monday when we had our NFL Insider on the show. There are things you can learn from the preseason. There are. It's probably not going to learn it just watching the ball. You want to watch like individual one-on-one matchups. You want to watch that kind of stuff. But yeah, the Chiefs will open their preseason Saturday, and yeah, I will. I'll DVR it. And I'll rip it off in about an hour and a half at most, instead of watching it live for 3 hours.
That was my plan. Wake up on Sunday before the Royals play.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah, make it a double dip. Make it a double feature there. Of course, if you would like to listen to the Chiefs preseason opener Saturday night against the Cardinals at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, it'll be in our sister station, the Big 94.5 Country. Mitch Holthus will have the call on the Chiefs radio network, and pre-game coverage will start at 6 o'clock ahead of the 7 o'clock kickoff. So yeah, there is preseason football tonight as well, and preseason for the Chiefs will get underway on Saturday. Let's jump into our 580 Sports Talk headlines because we got a big one and a bad one injury-wise from the AFC West. Adam Schefter reporting this. This is while we were at the hour break. Adam Schefter of ESPN.com reporting that Chargers left tackle Rashawn Slater, who signed a 4-year, $113 million extension last month, is thought to have suffered a season-ending ruptured patella tendon injury at practice today, pending further testing.
I don't know if you saw that video. Somebody got it on video of the rep. They just happened to be videoing the rep, and his knee just gave out. It looked bad.
It's a real shame. And again, this is one of those where we've talked about the distinction. Left on a cart, not a big deal. People leave on a cart for lots of reasons. People leave practice on a cart because they have to go to the bathroom. People leave practice on a cart because they like tweaked a toe and it's nothing serious, but they don't want guys to walk all the way back to the locker room. But if you are carted off the field, that's not what anybody wants to hear. And Rashawn Slater was carted off the field. And per the reporting of Adam Schefter, that is looking like a season ender for Rashawn Slater. He's one of the best offensive linemen in the league, and along with Joe Alt, forms the bookends for that Charger offensive line. And the Chargers, of course, are so dependent on what they do up front, setting the table for Justin Herbert in that running game. And Slater just got the big contract extension. So I'm glad he got paid before he suffered the injury. And patellar tendon injuries are no joke. Like Josh Simmons is making it look like kind of no big deal, but that's going to be a season ender if that is indeed what it is for Rashawn Slater. So hope for the best for him, but the news does not sound good. That is breaking from Adam Schefter of ESPN.com that Rashawn Slater may have suffered a ruptured patella tendon injury today. He is not the only player who was carted off the field today. Again, that is the distinction with a difference. Left on a cart, maybe not a big deal. Carted off the field, big deal. Another player carted off the field today at practice, Houston Texans safety C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He injured his right leg in practice, and Texans coach D'Amico Ryans was asked about it after practice today and said, quote, "It's heartbreaking when you see a guy go down on the field like that." That is not a word that you use if you are confident that everything is going to be okay. So that would appear to be a real blow to a projected starter in the Texans defensive backfield alongside young star Kalen Bullock at safety. Of course, they're all set at corner. Houston is with Derek Stingley and Kamari Lassiter. Jalen Petry's a good player at nickel, too. That was looking like one of the best secondaries in the National Football League and can still perform at a high level. But Gardner-Johnson, respected veteran, Super Bowl champion last year with the Eagles, and certainly sounds like he may be in line to miss some time with an injury suffered at practice today. So never fun to open on down notes, injury notes, but we have those from NFL camps today. Also noteworthy injury news from Detroit, where cornerback Ennis Rakestraw has been placed on season-ending injured reserve. The second-year corner underwent a shoulder surgery that will knock him out for the entire season. He suffered the injury in Sunday's practice. So the Lions, defensive players for that team, just do not stay safe. They're dropping like flies, unfortunately, for the Lions. So that is where we begin our 580 Sports Talk headlines today. Spencer, give us a headline.
Yes, we're going to go to a more local headline here as Kansas State quarterback Avery Johnson. He's been named to the Davey O'Brien Award watch list. Obviously, if you don't know what that is the award given to the best quarterback in the NCAA. And he's no stranger to this list because he made the preseason watch list for this last season. The list of semifinalists will be named on Wednesday, November 12th. The foundation will announce 3 finalists 2 weeks prior to 2 weeks later, Tuesday, November 25th. And the 2025 Davey O'Brien Award winner will be announced live on ESPN on Friday, December 12th during the Home Depot College Football Awards.
Great for my Big 12 talking point and agenda that no conference had more players named to the 36-man preseason watch list for the Davey O'Brien Award than the Big 12. 8 starting quarterbacks from the Big 12 named to the preseason Davey O'Brien Award watch list. Those quarterbacks include Iowa State's Rocco Becht, Utah's Devin Dampier, TCU's Josh Hoover, Avery Johnson, who I already mentioned, Sam Leavitt from Arizona State, Baron Morton from Texas Tech, Sawyer Robertson out of Baylor, and Cincinnati's Brendan Sorsby. One name that may be conspicuous by its absence, Kansas's Jalen Daniels, not on this list, which I think is very interesting because I think he's better than a lot of these guys. I think he's better than a lot of guys on this list. But the Big 12 did have 8 quarterbacks named to that preseason Davey O'Brien Award watch list. SEC and ACC each had 7. So I'm kind of out on the Big 10, man. Where are all the good quarterbacks in the Big 10? If Luke Altmaier really is the 3rd best quarterback in the Big 10, then the Big 10 is not going to be all that awesome to watch. This coming year. Anyway, next headline here on 580 Sports Talk. Speaking of quarterbacks, this headline from Texas Monthly about it is a feature piece today published about one of the quarterbacks who's on that watch list, the starter for the Texas Longhorns. The headline is The Unbearable Weight of Being Arch Manning. And the news item from the profile is Archie Manning saying that his grandson, Arch, will not be in the 2026 NFL draft class and will play at Texas in 2026.
Interesting.
So Peyton Manning played all 4 years at Tennessee, right? Eli Manning played all 4 years at Ole Miss. The Mannings use their eligibility. Arch Manning's got 3 years. Redshirt, and then a redshirt freshman last year. So Arch has 3 years of eligibility left. I don't know, like Peyton obviously didn't redshirt. Eli didn't redshirt. But it should not come as a surprise, given the family history here, that Arch Manning might use 4 years of eligibility and play then 3 years at Texas.
Yeah.
That shouldn't come as a surprise.
Well, I think he can make more money too.
Probably could. I mean, obviously, it's football. The nature of the beast is that you put some money at risk when you do that. But this is also not the era of college football that Uncle Peyton and Uncle Eli played in.
Exactly.
There's a little thing called name, image, and likeness.
Yeah.
Arch can put a little money aside that's over the table and not under the table. But that was the news item from that profile. And honestly, I saw that, and I raised an eyebrow. And I knew that going into his 3rd year, you're draft eligible after your 3rd year of college eligibility. Whether you're a junior or a redshirt sophomore, you are eligible at that point to enter the NFL draft. But then I thought about Peyton Manning playing all 4 years at Tennessee and never beating Florida. And I thought about Eli Manning playing his entire college career at Ole Miss and using up his eligibility. So, shouldn't be surprised that the next generation Manning is looking to do the same. Next headline, Spencer.
Yeah, we're going to stay in the state of Kansas, stay in collegiate athletics, as Kansas volleyball, who's highly touted this year, obviously one of the best programs in the nation, a top 25 program usually. They obviously got a new head coach, a legendary head coach, Matt Ulmer. He has like a 700-plus winning percentage when he was at Oregon, and I think he was at Long Beach State before that. But they are set to begin the season on August 23rd. ESPN and Fox have revealed their national broadcast schedule for the Big 12 volleyball season, with number 14 preseason ranked Kansas hosting 4 nationally televised games in the volleyball center there at KU. They'll play 8 total national TV games this season. They'll be on ESPNU on Friday, September 26th. Then Sunday, September 20th, they're taking on Arizona State that game, and then hosting Arizona the 28th at 12 p.m. They'll be on ESPN. Then they're going to host TCU October 23rd at 6 p.m. FS1, followed by the Dillon Sunflower Showdown on October 24th. That'll be on ESPNU at 8 p.m. So the Jayhawks not only are nationally ranked, but you're going to be able to watch them on national TV this year if you can't get out to Lawrence.
Been a lot more college volleyball on like big ESPN and FS1. We've seen that because there's an audience for it. People enjoy watching it, and they should, because it's really fun to watch. So cool for Big 12 volleyball for KU to get that spotlight again. Like you mentioned, picked second in the Big 12 preseason poll. I believe they received 5 first place votes. So certainly the Jayhawks will be worth keeping an eye on the volleyball court this coming fall. One more headline for me. We go to college sports and we meet LaDamian Guyton, a 6'3", 220-pound outside linebacker from Savannah, Georgia, who is ESPN's number 5 overall prospect in the recruiting class of 2027 and the number 2 defender among juniors in the ESPN Junior 300. 5-star recruit, Savannah, Georgia. So naturally, he's going to Texas Tech. Guyton committed to Texas Tech today, telling ESPN, quote, "They do a very good job of making you feel like you're one of their players already when you're in the building. It's a feeling that draws you in. They have things going in the right direction, and it's exciting knowing I'm going to be part of that someday." Now, obviously, there's a lot that can change between now and National Signing Day for the class of 2027. But Texas Tech just went into SEC country and got a 5-star outside linebacker.
Oh, yeah, they did. Kirby's mad right now.
Oh, he got to be spitting mad. He's got to be saying, find out what's on that check and double it.
There's no way we let the Big 12 come into SEC country and take our guys.
It's so funny. That's the prevailing attitude, as you can imagine, on like the message board.
Yeah.
Like what? Yeah, sure. Kid in Savannah, Georgia. Sure. He grew up dreaming about playing in Lubbock, Texas someday. Nah, man, he grew up dreaming about making that paper. He grew up dreaming of that cash, that cake, that guap, that green. And you know what? Texas Tech's got it. And they're not shy about throwing it around. And you know what? It is good for the Big 12. It is good for the Big 12. If Texas Tech is going to be the rabbit that all the Greyhounds are chasing when it comes to what they're doing in recruiting, what they're doing in the transfer portal, what they're doing financially, good. Everybody else, get your weight up and not your hate up, as they say.
Yeah.
Get that money right. And then you can you run with the big dogs in recruiting. Texas Tech has done it. And it goes to show you that that is going to work. That is going to be functional for Texas Tech. Another big score for them in recruiting. We will take
not so fast, my friend. Happy birthday, Lee Corso.
It is Lee Corso's birthday.
It's his 90th birthday. ESPN's about to have a special called Not So Fast, My Friend, airing August 22nd. The night before, presumably, they might have game day in Ireland. I don't know if they're going to do that again this year.
I don't think they are. No. I think I would have heard about that by now.
That's
Anyhow, happy birthday to the Sunshine Scooter. We'll take a timeout. Mitch Holthus joins us next for a training camp report on 580 Sports Talk. 526 on 580 Sports Talk. Dan and Spencer with you. It's time for yet another training camp report with the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, Mitch Holthus. Training camp reports are brought to you by Hy-Vee, your official tailgate headquarters for Kansas City Chiefs football, and by Azura Credit Union. Contact Crystal Rippey, Kirsten McCall, or Nassim Khan about the credit union advantage for your next home loan. Mitch, today we profile one of the newly well-compensated members of the Kansas City Chiefs. Trey Smith got his contract extension this offseason, and it was quite a journey going from parts of last year where we watched Trey Smith have his first Pro Bowl season and thought, man, this might not be a luxury the Chiefs can afford for next season. Man, it would be hard to watch Trey Smith in another uniform moving forward. Well, now that's not a reality the Chiefs have to face moving forward. Number 65 is going to wear that red for a long time.
Hey, especially my granddaughter, who will be in 6th grade, and that's her favorite player. And I love it that she likes Mahomes and likes Kelsey, but she wears her 65 jersey around all the time. I love it that she likes a guard as her favorite player. And I love it, the fact that he's one of the most amazing human beings I've been around in 32 years in the National Football League. He's a phenomenal human, and he's turning in to be a really, really good player. He earned that money, deserves that money. And last year, 1,117 snaps and did not allow a single sack, 0. He's great in the run game and obviously good in the passing game, but he also is this line of guys who make up the infrastructure and lug nuts of the wheel of this team. He's right in the center of it. This guy he's a presence, and not just physically.
It's an amazing blessing. God's been really good for me in my life, and being able to achieve that is something that I always appreciate in life. You know, getting the financial blessing to change my family for generations, something I don't take lightly, but I also understand the responsibility that comes with it. And, you know, living up to that expectation and trying to be the best in my position every time I step on that field. So there's a tremendous sense of pride that, you know, the organization felt that way about me, but now it's my time to go earn it, you know.
As you take this next step means even more of a leadership role, right? Even throughout, beyond the O-line. What about that responsibility and one that you embrace?
Yeah, you know, I was blessed when I came in here to a really veteran O-line group. I had a lot of older guys like Laurent, Kyle Long, Mike Rimmers, you know, Andrew Wiley, Nick Allegretti, you know, Joe Tooney. Obviously, there are a ton of names and a ton of guys that helped me push through a lot of situations. And for me, it's sort of, I've been here now going on my 5th season, my 5th time in St. Joe's. And, you know, I have a wealth of knowledge that I can pass down to younger guys, you know, the rookies in the O-line room and beyond. So just really being someone that, you know, younger guys can look up to and, you know, holding up that standard, that championship standard that I came in this organization with.
Some guys have their goal to get paid the second contract, and they never quite play up to it. You heard his comment. It's now he has to earn it. And that's the difference in a Trey Smith. He doesn't see this payment as like, all right, man, I got paid. He's seeing it as, yes, it's a blessing to be compensated as such, but now he has to earn it. And that tells you a lot about the mindset of Trey Smith and the fact that he's physically gifted. He goes from being a risky 6th round pick. He's got issues to when they did a redraft a couple years ago, he was a 1st round pick. So yeah, I'm glad they re-signed him. People criticize the Chiefs. He's the highest paid guard now. That'll last for a while. But I think the money is still prudent, and he's got such a role in this team. I can't imagine this team without him.
I believe you can pay a guard premium money and still win a championship. I believe the previous highest paid guard in the NFL was Landon Dickerson for the reigning Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. So yep. I think you can pay a guard good money. And the thing that I really loved, Trey, when he got a chance to speak to the media for the first time after he signed the deal, you could tell how emotional it was when he thought about, obviously, his family history. His mother passed away when he was younger, and the promise to her that he would graduate and he would make the NFL, and that he has done those things. He's accomplished those things. This is not a guy that takes a single thing for granted. And I think that having guys like that in leadership roles and in prominent roles on your team, that's how you sustain success, is have those guys who don't take a single moment, a single opportunity for granted, because they know fragile football is. They know how fragile life is. Trey Smith just gets it, and he's gotten it from day one, and I think it's got to be part of the reason why he's had the success that he's had.
Yeah, no question. And his family, so Ashley, his sister, works at the league office. She was not very far from that shooter that entered that building the other day, which caused, some angst. But I mean, Ashley's so bright and on it that she might be commissioner of the league someday. But you're dead on with him. I think you pegged him and why his just why he's so valuable to this team, and the fact that he's willing to take responsibility beyond himself, and he's willing to continue to learn and to be a pro and to handle it. And he, together with Creed now, that's a force. The other thing about paying guards, and think about the Landon Dickerson contract, and I'm glad you brought that up because I think it gives fans some perspective. There's more and more an inclination. If there is a resurgence of paying running backs, that there's a resurgence of investing in guards. And the reason is the power game, meaning you have to have a guard, if they're talented enough to be able to pull with power. Inside pulls, guard to guard on a inside power play, which we run more than people realize. The ability then to set up an inside screen that is a power screen. You have an athletic guard, but he's also got power. And so I think there's more value to the guard position, especially on the type of offense, and even our offense, which is seen as comprehensive and not the Eagles run Saquon Barkley offense, that it's necessary. And so again, yeah, Trey's a huge part of our scheme.
We're joined by Mitch Holthus here for our Chiefs training camp reports, brought to you by Hy-Vee and Azure Credit Union. And Mitch, it seemed like this offseason, when there was a looming deadline for that deal, it just didn't seem like that Trey Smith was, or like, coming from his agent side or anything. It didn't seem like they were worried about like getting a deal getting done. It seemed like it was just going to come. It was going to happen as it could. And that he was just happy to be here no matter how this season went, whether he was under an extension or he had to wait till next year. Is that just like who he is as a person? Like he just doesn't, he's not too worried about the outside forces. He's just going to play the game.
Well, that's where his faith comes into play. We all have anxiety, but there's ways of handling anxiety, and he's a strong man of faith. So I think that, and he has confidence in his ability without being cocky. So he knew it was going to work out. He wanted it to work out here because of all the things we've been mentioning the last 5 paragraphs. It fits his game. And so it fits who he is and his persona. So anyway, I think, yeah, there was never any kind of feeling of like it was not going to work out. So yeah, it was I just never felt the anxiety, I guess, and nor did he, that it wasn't going to get worked out. It was a big number, but when you look at it and you can amortize it, if you give a big number to a guard, this goes back to Dan's thought, I think. If you give a big number to a guard, you better hope that he's productive through that entire contract. Where it gets you in trouble is if that guy does not play well and he becomes, and now you got to walk on him and you have dead cap money for a guard. That's when it gets tough. And so we don't think that's going to happen. And that's why Veach gave him the money, because we think he's going to play to that contract and beyond. And you won't have the dreaded situation where you're going to set on big cap money.
Couple more questions for Mitch Holthus, voice of the Chiefs, joining us here on 580 Sports Talk. What is then the next level for Trey Smith? Because he's been now a Pro Bowler for the first time. The next step is to get to all pro level. And we all think he's capable of doing that. What then does he have to do to get to that level?
Well, there's still some glitches in his game that he recognizes and wants to work on it. I think it's to be dominant, where we've seen the Hall of Fame guards, the Will Shields, or the perennial Pro Bowl guards are not only consistent, they're dominant at a quasi, if not consistent, dominance all along. And so he can pull. He's great on inside power plays. As I mentioned, he's great on screens. It's just a matter of getting beaten less and having a better win rate in the pass game and also in the run game. So get up there. I mean, PFF, we put too much emphasis on PFF. We give it a number. Ooh, that looks like it's numerical. That's got to be an analytic. It's still an opinion of some guy in his basement, right? So we just have to. But I think that, and I'm not telling you something I wouldn't say to Trey, is that it's being dominant on a consistent basis and less losses. It's like a pitcher in baseball, and Trey right now would be like a 10-4 pitcher. And I'm talking about being 17-5 or 17-2. That's what I mean. So, win your battles and win them big.
The last thing I want to talk about with Trey Smith, and we talked about this on the show when he signed his deal. It's really neat how he follows in a tradition of Chiefs guards. You mentioned Will Shields, Brian Waters, Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, and obviously I'm mentioning good players, your Hall of Fame caliber players, Will Shields' case, but also Shields and Waters won Walter Payton Man of the Year awards. And while Laurent Duvernay-Tardif didn't win Walter Payton Man of the Year, I argue he could have for giving of a year of his career to lend his medical expertise during the COVID-19 pandemic. And Trey Smith has struck me as a guy who one day I would not be surprised if he won the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. You've spoken about this a little bit in the course of this conversation, but I know you've got stories about the kind of person Trey Smith is, and he's a heck of a player, but he's always struck me as one of those who leaves as much of an impact as a person, the person that he is, and really follows in that Chiefs guard tradition.
I love the work that he does throughout the kingdom, but in his hometown. I mean, he's had such a big impact around Knoxville, around the University of Tennessee, but his own hometown. And then he's been to Smith Center twice. I do a fundraiser every spring for the Home on the Range cabin for the People's Heartland Foundation. He's been there twice. And those people love him. I mean, that's where my granddaughter met him personally, and now they're like buds. And so and she waited to get a Stitch jersey. She had she didn't have the Stitch jersey until he got this contract. As soon as he did, she got her dad, my son, to go get her a Stitch 65 jersey. And so Trey sent her a message and said, "Cora, I cannot wait to see that new jersey." He wanted to sign it. She didn't want him to sign it. She wanted him to sign a card that she had. She got a really cool football card, but he just gets it. He gets family. And there's just a lot to that guy, way more than Chiefs fans know. And they'll get to know it over the years, but just know that that's a spectacular human being manning right guard, and he's deserving of the money.
And he's going to be there for a long time, Trey Smith. Mitch Holthus joins us for a training camp report. They are brought to us by Hy-Vee, your official tailgate headquarters for Kansas City Chiefs football, and by Azure Credit Union, where you can contact Crystal Rippey, Kirsten McCall, or Naseem Khan about the credit union advantage for your next home loan. Mitch, you will be bringing us a report in absentia tomorrow. You'll be flying to the Valley of the Sun. We're going to play some football on Saturday.
Let's do it. I'll give you your checklist tomorrow.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Mitch.
Yep.
That is Mitch Holthus, the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, for a training camp report. Again, we will not have him live tomorrow, but we will hear from him on his preseason game 1 checklist that he'll bring us for tomorrow's training camp report. We'll take a break here on 580 Sports Talk. Come back. We'll play a little either or over under on the program next on 580 WIBW. This one would have been a little more appropriate yesterday or 2 days ago. This was Hulk Hogan's entrance music.
I didn't know that.
When they didn't have the rights to use Real American, he came out to Voodoo Child. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Little fun fact for you. Great song, man. I'd come down the ramp to that. Hit some poses. Maybe that'll be my entrance music for when I arm wrestle Brendan when we get to 800 subscribers on the YouTube.
Walking in now. You got to give me some hype thing and I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll read it.
We'll do it. Michael Buffer might be a little out of our price range. So
yeah,
we'll do what we can. 5:43 here at 580 Sports Talk. Dan and Spencer hanging out with you. Little either or over under to wrap up the show essentially today. We're with you until 6 o'clock. I'm trying to think how I want to phrase this one. How about this? Either or, who catches the first pass thrown by Patrick Mahomes in the preseason on Saturday in Arizona? Travis Kelce or the field? Remember, Rashee Rice probably not going to go. Hollywood Brown probably not going to go. Travis Kelce or the field? How about this? Kelce, Worthy, or the field?
I'll go the field.
Okay, you think you throw somebody else?
I think Jalen Royals.
Ooh, that's interesting thought. I'll tell you what. You're going to learn a lot. Some of the ways you can learn from that first preseason game. Who plays? Who gets some run with the ones? If Jalen Royals is out there with the ones early and gets a target from Patrick Mahomes early, that's a really good sign as far as A, his development, but B, how they think about him as a contributor on offense. It's an interesting one. I'll go Kelce. I think it's gonna be Kelce. Little quick hitter, maybe an RPO with him in the slot, something like that. I don't think we'll see him for more than one series. I'm not willing to predict how the series will go because it's preseason. Who cares? But yeah, I think Kelce gets the first one.
So this is a long view over under.
Okay.
This is a season over under.
Okay.
Travis Kelce over under 4 touchdowns.
4 touchdowns. You're not gonna give me a hook?
No, only because in 2023 he had 5 touchdowns, and in 2024 he had 3 touchdowns.
Okay.
So
I see.
Are we splitting in the middle of the last 2 seasons, or are we gonna have the 2023 or more, or 24 Kelce?
Teams really the last 2 years began to hone in on him as the red zone weapon, particularly short yardage. Remember, he get a lot of those touchdowns on those like quick hitter, like almost bubble screens, like Mahomes taking the snap and immediately throwing to Kelce for like a 1-yard touchdown, or the little underhanded shovel pass that it seems like doesn't really work anymore because teams are wise to it. I'm sure they could find some new ways to get Kelce the ball, but teams do seem like they've honed in on him as that red zone threat. That being said, they don't have an obvious other red zone threat at wide receiver, and I think Mahomes is going to have a pretty big year. So I'll go over. I'll say over. I don't think he's going to get back to his double-digit touchdown heights of even as recently as 2022. But half a dozen TDs for Kelce, that sounds about right to me.
Yeah, I was going to do catches for the year, but it's just such an odd metric because I don't how much now that they have barring Rashee Rice having a lesser of a suspension, right? Like 3 games or less if he does get suspended, and the fact that they have Royals and Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy and they have Noah Gray and I think catches is hard to determine because he had 110 in 2022. He had 93 in 23 and 97 last year.
So
I don't know how it's got to drop. I don't think he's going to be a 95 catch guy this year.
So the real instructive thing when it comes to Kelce is you look at what his target share was in the game, or his target total was in the games where Rashee Rice was healthy, the first 3 games of the year. You have 4 targets against Baltimore. You got 3 against Cincinnati. You got 5 against Atlanta. Then Rice gets hurt. He gets 9 against the Chargers, 10 the next week against New Orleans. Like, his involvement in the offense is going to predicate upon how available Rashee Rice is.
Yeah.
And so I do not like
that's a hard number to set, right?
Right.
Like right now, we
there's
don't
no
know
way.
a suspension.
Like if Travis Kelce catches 97, he got 97 passes last year.
Yeah.
I don't think he's got that in him. And I don't know if he approaches that, if that's good or bad for the Chiefs offense. If that's good, because he's dropped some weight. He's a little more spry, and he's really acting more like a veteran slot receiver than a tight end because he's lost a little weight. Or it's, man, they got nothing else going, and they have to keep throwing these chintzy little checkdowns, and he's like Jason Witten averaging 7 yards a catch, like old Jason Witten.
It's so hard to do at this point. I don't.
Yeah. Yards per catch would be an interesting one, though, right? He was at 8.5 last year. Let's do that one. 8.5 yards per reception, Travis Kelce, over and under for 2025.
I'm going to go over. I'm going to agree with your spry slot receiver look. Like, until he shows me otherwise, right now I'm leading to believe that, like, all accounts that he's obviously he's not going to say that he did. Like he came on kind of, I never said that, blah, blah, blah. But all by accounts, he looks better this year than he was last year. And I think, like we've talked about this on the show, that he wasn't doing a world tour this summer like he did last year. Like he had more time to go have a workout plan, a normal workout plan in for his summer.
Yeah.
So I think like that makes sense, right? Like if you look at last summer for him compared to this summer, it makes a whole lot more sense that he's in better shape, I think, because he's had more. He wasn't necessarily like last summer. He was filming shows.
Yeah. 8.5 was his yards per reception. I think he should get over that.
Yeah, I think he's getting over that.
I think he'll get over that. I had one other that I was going to do, and then I kind of pivoted to that one. So let me do this one for you. Likelier to return to the postseason from the AFC West, the Chargers or the Broncos? Who do you feel better about? Now, not saying you have to automatically put one of these teams in the preseason. The Chargers have apparently taken a big hit today with the potential season-ending injury to Rashawn Slater. But
they've just confirmed it too. They've confirmed that he's having surgery.
He already had the MRI?
No, they're confirming he's having surgery. He's on the season-ending injured reserve, is what Rappaport reported.
Really? They were already going there.
He's going to have surgery tomorrow.
Wow, I didn't even think he had the MRI yet. Man, that's tough. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, obviously that's terrible news for Rashawn Slater, and Chargers take a hit there. But who do you feel better about making the playoffs in 2025? Denver or Los Angeles, the Chargers?
Right now, Denver. All right, you lose. Obviously, he got paid as he is Slater, one of the best players in the league, if he got the contract that he got. Losing that's going to be tough. And, yeah, I just think the Broncos might be ready. I mean, it's another year of one of the best coaches in the NFL league history, right? Sean Payton's one of the best coaches in history.
Yeah.
Like a top 5 coach, I think, active, right?
Probably.
So,
okay.
No, okay, that's legacy-wise. I think he has
because he's got a ring,
he's
right?
got a ring.
Yeah.
He had Drew Brees for so long where they were, like the Steelers. They weren't necessarily having playoff success, but they were getting to the playoffs.
Always good, yeah.
Yeah. So I think the Broncos.
Okay. That's probably my lean too, and I think that would have been my lean even without the injury to Slater. Yeah, I just saw the Chargers put out a press release saying that he will, in fact, need surgery. Rashawn Slater's out for the year. I'm not I don't think there's anything more to Bo Nix than what we got last year. I think he's still a point and shoot quarterback in Sean Payton's system, and I don't think he's going to get any better. If he doesn't get any better, it's still a quarterback who gets to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I don't love their offense. I don't think they have a lot of playmakers. Their offensive line is very good, but I don't think they have a lot of playmakers on that offense. But I think the defense is nasty. They had top 10 defense. They had Dre Greenlaw. They had Talanoa Hufanga. If either of those guys have anything left in the tank, that could be the best defense in the NFL. That is the ceiling for that Denver defense. So I think that's their identity. They're going to be really nasty on defense. And Nix, for whatever I think his limitations are, he doesn't give the ball away. He did very well to not give the ball away. But the other thing that sticks with me about Nix, you go look at his numbers against teams who didn't make the playoffs last year, and then you go look at his numbers against teams who did. Good teams kind of had their way with this guy. And if that's where if he only gets better against good teams, if he's the guy he was against bad teams, against good teams, then yeah, they'll surely get back to the playoffs. But I still have hang-ups about Bo Nix, but I'd put them ahead of the theoretical champions every year, the Los Angeles Chargers. We'll take one more time out. We'll come back with a final word to wrap up this edition of 580 Sports Talk. It's final word time on this edition of 580 Sports Talk. Spencer Dupuis, why don't you lead us off?
Yeah, it was good to hear from Patrick Mahomes today. A lot of quotable stuff, as you would say, in the media, a lot where you can just play little snippets of what he was saying, especially in the first few minutes, I think. But it was great to hear him talk about Josh Simmons and what he thought about him during the draft process, because if you don't know, Patrick Mahomes is like a draft guru guy.
He's a junkie.
Like he will read what people are saying the Chiefs are going to do.
He will eat the tape.
Eat the tape on those guys, and he ate the tape on Josh Simmons. And he basically, we heard it, we played it earlier today. What he said he was excited to get him there, and he's excited that he's actually playing right now, and that it was a great recovery that he had. And he said he left it to the Chiefs to be the medical people, and they, as of right now, he thinks they make the best choice possible. And then he talking about deep shots. I think that was a great thing to hear him from his perspective say, I don't think I was very good the last couple of years, essentially. In other words, he said that. So I liked hearing what I heard from Patrick Mahomes today. I know we're only going to see a series probably from him on Saturday, but just getting ready for the season start.
I might
29 days away.
I might change my mind on that either or over under we did. They might call a deep shot to Worthy on the first play. they might get a 9 route for Worthy on play 1 of the preseason just to see if it works.
Yeah.
Final word.
So he doesn't get injured like Hollywood Brown did.
Yeah. No first play injuries. Here's hoping. Knock on wood. Final word for me. It's been a difficult year for Royals second baseman Jonathan India. My source on this is my eyes and the stat sheet, but also Jonathan India, who spoke very frankly about this, and Ann Rodgers had the quotes from him over at Royals.com, saying he hasn't felt like himself this year, hasn't gotten to be the player that he knows he can be and the hitter that he knows he can be. It's obviously a human element to this. Changing cities for the first time in his major league career, being asked to try and play different positions, not feeling comfortable in left field or at third base, and losing a comfort level out on the field and at the plate. It's been a tough road for him. I think taking him out of the leadoff spot not only helps the Royals, who can get Mike Yastrzemski more at-bats against right-handed pitchers, or Randall Grichuk more at-bats against left-handed pitchers in a leadoff platoon. But I think it helps India as well. Takes a little bit off of his shoulders and allows him to just go and play ball. And it sounds like he just needs to be freed of some burdens and just go play some ball these final 2 months to help the Royals. That'll do it for us today. We're back tomorrow from 3 until 6. For Spencer, I'm Dan. This has been 580 Sports Talk. Good night.